A city in flames destroys supplies and killing anyone unable to escape. Skaya Alp's group attacked the guard before the fire could be started. The fighting was close and violent. There was no space for wide movement. Men fought between wall, door and pile of broken furniture. Taha helped reaching the first stone of oil and throw the burning material into the stone yard where it could do less damage. An enemy soldier tried to light another building, but a civilian attacked him from building into a wooden toll. The action showed that blood control over the population was breaking. People who had once remained silent were beginning to resist. Word researched blood that Ottoman soldier has entered the eastern quarter. He understood immediately that the western attack had been forced. His remaining escape route was crossing. He ordered his men to prepare horses, bridge the old place, and move toward the hidden gate. The gate opened into a narrow path leading toward the forest. Blood believed that Ottoman has not discovering it before the entrance was covered by fallen stone, but Bali had already noticed visible track near the area. His readers were waiting beyond the tree. Blood first housemen came through the path at great speed. Bali allowed them to move forward before closing the road behind them. The artillery reader attacked from outside the forest, which Blood has been used to frighten his enemies. Now work against him. His men has little spaces to form a strong line. Blood escaped the first clash by leaving his horses and moving through the tree on foot. Civilian trusted guard remained with him. He now part that was annoying to most Ottoman soldiers. For a short time, it appeared that he might disappear again. Bali followed signs that other worlds have missed. A broken bench, fresh mud on a stone, and blood from a wounded guard. He does not rush enough that blood may leave false track. By sunrise, the city gate has been opened. Ottoman forces enter into strict order. Looting was forbidden. Soldiers were told to help put one fire and protect the civilian. Any man who breaks the command will be punished. Men did enter later, not as a warrior shaping personal glory, but as a ruler responsible for what comes next. He said damaged home, frightened family and bodies left from the fighting. Victory did not appear beautiful from inside the city. There was no clean line or perfect scene. War had love pain everywhere. A group of leaders came before him. Some had spotted blood, others claimed they have seen forces to obey. Mehmed now that nearly every man will now try to present himself as an innocent victim, judging them will require evidence, not emotion. He now said that civilians who had not fought would be protected. This is who had committed crime under very direct each other with investigation. Soldiers who surrounded will not be killed simply for carrying weapons, but men responsible for the torture or murder of prisoners will face judgment. The announcement surprised many people. They have accepted what punishment. Vlad has told that the Ottoman will destroy every home. His stories has helped him maintain control. By acting differently, Mehmed weakened Vlad even after he had left the city. The Sultan has ordered grain stored to be examined. Some has handed police or bird, others remained safe. The usable food was placed under guard and distributed carefully. No commander was allowed to take supplies for his one man without permissions. Mehmed wanted people to see that Ottoman order did not mean the replacement of one form of thief with one another. Temporary concern was from local men who understand the city needs were included, but they was closely. Ottoman officials began recording damaged area, food level, water sources, and the name of missing families. Hitler attracted both soldiers and civilians. This action was less dramatic than a battle. They will determine whether the conquest would last. A city ruled only by soldiers would remain frightened and unstable. A city given love, food, and protection could slowly return to him. Kortu Dogan brought civilian Janissaries accused of entering a house without permission. The soldiers said they were searching for violent men. The family inside claimed the soldier has tried to take valuable objects. Mehmed listened to both sides. Evidence showed that one soldier has taken coin beneath his clothing. The Sultan ordered punishment in one of the armies. Some soldiers believed that the decision was to have ordered everything. The Janissaries has suffered. Mehmed answered them directly. If we take what belongs to the innocent, then we become servant of Vlad purpose. He wants his land to remember only fear. We will carry his work forward. The punished soldier lowered his head. The message reaches every unit. The victory did not give them permission to forget discipline. Meanwhile, Believe continued searching the forest. Vlad and his guard has crossed a shallow spring to hide their track. The water showed at the Ottoman reader, but it also left sign on the opposite bank. Our guard was too weak to continue and had been left beneath a tree. He was found alive. The wounded man refused to speak at first. Believe gave him water and closed a healer to stop the healing. The man looked confused. He had accepted torture. Why help me? He asked. Because the man that tell us nothing. Bear replied. The answer was practical rather than gentle, but it changed the prisoner thinking. He revealed that Vlas were moving toward an old hunting shelter where fresh houses that has been repaired. Bear sent a messenger to Mehmed and continued the pursuit. As they entered shelter, Vlas discovered that only 2 horses remained. The servant responsible for preparing the locations had fled. His guard began argument over who right. Vlas charging him with justice. Man who like has spoken of dying for him now looked at the houses as their only hope. He took the stronger animal for himself. One guard protected that the wounded commander should ride. Vlad struck the protested man and ordered the other to follow on faith. The movement entered the last authority loyalty among them. When Vlad rode away to guard turn into another decision, they no longer credited whenever he survived. Vlad has spent a year teaching men, then survival belonged to the careless person. Now they was following the person he had given them. Bear reaches the shelter soon afterward, understand what was happened. He remembered, decided that the reader again. One group followed Vlad horses, another followed the guard. He wanted prisoner because they might now when Vlad planned to go next. Vlad rode toward the mountain, but his horse was already tired. He knew that Ottoman would continue until they capture him or forces him beyond the region. He also knew that some foreign ruler might still help him. They fear Mehmed more than they dislike Vlad in political a rule that may remain useless if his cruelty was directly toward a scared enemy. The fight gave Vlad hope. He did not need to defect Mehmed immediately. He needed to survive. As long as he lived, he could return gather soldiers, spread fear and claim that the struggle has not ended. But back in, Mehmed received Believe message he wanted Vlad captured, but he refused to send the entire cavalry into the mountain. A larger force would move slowly and require more supplies. It could also be driven into the bush. He allowed Believe to continue with selected leader while the main army secured the city. Zugano's Basa agreed with the decision but warned the Vlad escape could be presented as an Ottoman failure. Mehmed looked over the city square where civilian was receiving bread. Let them speak. A man can accept a road. He cannot escape the result of losing his land. Zugano understands that personal survival matter, but control of the territory mattering more. Mehmed will not damage the larger comparisons supplied to satisfy the reserve for one prisoner. Still, the Sultan now that Vlad could remain dangerous. A defected enemy who become assembled might inspire more resistance than an enemy killed in battle. Vlad will tell people that he has escaped the greatest Ottoman army. He will his losses and increase the story of his one courage. Mehmed therefore ordered Britain and sent to send an accurate account of the companion to government and allied ruler. The message will describe the capture of the city, the protection of civilians, the defect of Vlad forces and the continued pursuit. Mehmed understands that was spouted through stories as well as word. If he remains silent, Vlad will feel that silence will lie. In Istanbul, news from the comparisons reaches the pieces through several different letters. The first report spoke only the shade and valley trap. The second described the opening of the gate. The third slide Vlad has failed. Each message created a different opinion. The women of the place were received that Mehmed lived, but they now the companion was not fully finished. The princess listened carefully to every detail. One said the event has a lesson in military patience, another focused on blood escapes competition influenced the way they understand the same news. Price Byzantine asked why the army had not attacked immediately. When Vlad used civilian as protection, his teacher explained that a prince must think beyond the first result. A gate can be rebuilt, the teacher sighed. Trust is harder to rebuild. Byzantines considered the answer. He was learning that rulership was not simply about choosing strength over weakness, often two different kinds of strengths turned against each other. The strength to attack could be necessary, but the strength to wake might be more difficult. Elsewhere in the place, men connected to different princes excused the future. They spoke quietly, but every word carried danger. Mehmed was still strong. An open confession of successful could be treated as betrayal, yet ambition official always looked toward the next page. They wanted to stand near the prize more likely to inherit power. Some believe Basir's claim nature would him a stable ruler. Others admit Mustafa's courage and popularity among soldiers. A news spotted different branches of the family for private reasons. Their choices were not always based on what was best for the empire. A man who expected promotions under one prince would priced at the prince's qualities and attacked the order. The mother understood this is moment. They watched with official requested private meeting with daughter received guests and which communicators sent letter. A mother did not need to other to become the part of place politics, simply protected her child, could create a political group around her. The place appeared powerful from outside. Garden was cared for, servant moved through clean hell and guards stood at every inheritance. Beneath that calm surface, information moved like water through hidden cracks. A servant overheard two officials speaking about the possibility that Mehmed might remain the Valicia longer than expected. One official suggested that the prince should be even greater authority in the capital. The other warned that such a proposal could appear disloyal. The servant carried this conversation to someone connected by another political group. By evening, the world has changed. The original discussion about temporary authority became a ruler that certain officials wanted to place the Sultan. This was how place danger grew. A sentence passes through 5 people could become a weapon that no longer resembled the trust. When the rumor reaches the chief place's official, he refused to act immediately. He ordered the people involved to be watching. Arresting them without evidence might create greater fear and hurt the real network. He needed to know was using the rumor and why. Far from Istanbul, Suleiman faces his one decision. News from Karaman demanded his attention. The situations there were becoming unstable, and the men connected to his past expected him to act at the same time. Leaving his position during Mehmed's comparison could be seen as disobedience. Suleiman understands that every choice carries danger. If he remained, Kamran might fall into the hands of his enemies. If he left, Mehmed might answer his loyalty. Even asking for permissions could expose weakness because the message might be delayed or interrupts. He walked alone after receiving the news. The people around him offered different advice. One commander told him the loyalty to Mehmed must come before every local matter. Another said a man who abandons his own people could never be trusted by anyone. Suleiman now about argument obtained trust. The difficulty comes from deciding which matter more than at movement. He finally ordered a small group to travel toward Kamran and learn the excited situations. He will not move based only one alarming message. The decision brought him time, but it did not remove the problem. The passenger selected for the task was secretly connected to an official who wanted conflict between Suleiman and Mehmed. Instead of carrying the order directly, he planned to delay the journey and sell the facts, saying that Kamran was turning close to rebellion. The plot was not designed to win a battle, it was designed to influence a decision. If Suleiman moved without permissions, he could be accused of betrayal. If Mehmed retreated harshly, resentment might grow. An enemy of the empire did not always need to defect Ottoman soldiers. Sometimes he only needed to make loyal men misunderstand one another. Mehmed has often warned his commander about this kind of danger. Open enemies was essential to find spaces between their positions where clear hidden enemy worked through doubt. He could turn a late message into an insult, a careful decision into or a family disagreement into treason. At Argovis, the Sultan's attention was divided among many urgent matters. He needed reports from Bali Bay, planned for local government, information about nearby enemy forces, and news from Istanbul. He slept only for a short period. His close servant noticed the tiredness in his eyes, but no one mentioned it. One evening, Mehmed entered a damaged place of worship that he had used as a shelter. Families was resting against the wall. Some moved away when they see each other stay. An old religious leader approaching and asked whether the building will be taken from them. Mehmed replied that people who live peacefully will be allowed to continue their worship. The leader looked surprised and remained whether the promise would remain after the army left. A promise that ends when a speaker leaves is not a purpose. Mehmed signed the order the world to be placed in writing. The document officially authority, not only the memory of the conversation. The action has practical value. Mehmed local community to understand that they did not want to protect their identity. Vlad has used the fear of origin rule to hold power. If Mehmed protected ordinary life, resistance would lose of his reason. However, not every commander agreed with some patience. Some ruler officials agreed that the people exposed Vlad and should pay for the war. He believed fear will prevent rebellion. Mehmed asked him how long can one soldier frighten a whole village. The officer answered that the soldier could do while carrying a sword, and were the silent leave. The official reminded silence. Mehmed continued, fear obeys the strongest man in the room. Justice can remain after he is gone. The young official brought he understand that the Sultan was not rejected forces. He was explaining it limit. The next morning, a group of villagers brought information about a store of weapons hidden outside the city. Vladimir has opened to use them to future attack. Ottoman soldiers both plate armor and barrel of oil inside an underground chamber. This discovery confirmed that Vlad has accepted the struggle to continue even after losing. He planned to create small group that will attack road, burn supplies, and kill officials. Mehmed ordered the weapon removed and the chamber destroyed. He also ordered local guards to be organized under Ottoman supervision. Some commanders objected by leaving weapons to men who had recently lived under Valid. Mehmed answered that permanently security could not depend on soldiers from distant lands. Local men needed a place inside the new order, otherwise every army person would be driven to a rebellion. The guide who chosen carefully an excuse of serious crime was included. Families from different parts of the city were represented so that one group could not control the force. Ottoman officers trained them and remained responsible for their actions. The decision carries risk. Some local guards might still help Vlad, yet refusing to trust anyone would create a different dangers. A state that treated every local person as an enemy will eventually make enemies of them all. Meanwhile, Balibe reaches the mountain part where Vlad Rossis has slow. Fresh tracks showed that the reader had stopped near a rocky area. Belly Bay suspended another hidden shelter. He sent men around many sides, and approaching carefully, they find the house tied near a small opening. But blood has gone inside. The shelter was full of clothing and letter from foreign contact. One letter promised assistance if Vlad could reach a border fortress. The letter did not carry a clear name. Its seal has been damaged. Still, it proved that Vlad's escape was connected to a larger political plan. Someone outside Galicia wanted to him to alive. Valley Bay sent the document to Mehmed and continued toward the border. Now that the distance was growing and his men were tired, the pursuit could not be continued forever without rest. Once reader asked whenever they should turn back, Valley Bay looked toward the mountain. Our world does not stop being dangerous because it is far from the flock. They continue. Vlad moved on forward before through a man part not only to local hunter. His clothing was torn and his hands were cut by stone. For the first time in many movements, he had no guard, no banner, and no passenger around him. He was only one man trying not to be captured, yet his pride remained. His imagining returning with the foreign army. He published pictures, Mehmed looking toward the same mountain and realizing that the conflict had started again. This is to help his continue. He reaching a small village before sunset. The people recognized him but did not welcome him. They had suffered under his rule. He demanded horses and food. The village leader said they had left blood draw his hip one before he could use it. Several villagers appeared with farm tools. They were frightened, but they did not move away. The villager leader said, "Your soldiers are gone." Vlad looked at the face around him and understand that his power had depending on the expectation of punishment. Without guard to carry it out, his soldier and the fear was weaker. He promised toward when his return to power. No one answered. At last, one young man gave him an old house, not from loyalty but because the villager wanted him to leave. Vlad rode away with only a small amount of food. The villager leader later sent a boy toward the Ottoman line without information about the road Vlad has taken. In this way, Vlad's air of clarity continued working against him. Every person he has threatened become a possible guard for his enemies. The information reaching Valley Bear near down. He changing direction and moved toward the border road. In Targovis, Mehmed examined the origin letter found in the mountain shoulder. Zoganos believed the unknown ally must be connected to Hungary. Another official suggested a legal noble who hoped to weaken Ottoman control without entering open war. Mehmed did not decide too quickly. A damaged seal could be placed on a false letter. Vlad might have left the document to direct suspicion toward another ruler. This carried orders specially to study the writing paper and was the paper was expensive and came from the workshop used by several Ottoman court. The handwriting belonged to an educated security. The language was careful and avoided direct promise. Whenever wrote it wanted to help, Vlad was keeping enough distance to deny everything later. Mehmed understood the matter of origin. Ruler often supported religion through private agents. While speaking of peace in public, but the religions suspected they gained a friendly ruler. If it failed, they claimed they knew nothing. He decided not to excuse anyone yet. Inside, they prepare his one quiet anger. Ottoman agent, while carrying false information, suggested that Vlad has been captured and had revealed the name of his allies. The goal was to create fear among those who had helped him. A frightened might destroy letter, more money, or send an urgent message. Each action could expose the hidden network. This was a different kind of battle. No word crosses, but the danger was real. Mehmed has learned that an empire could lose through bad information just as easily as through a failed attack. Several days later, a messenger arrived from Istanbul with report of struggle and destruction among officials connected to the princess. The report did not accuse anyone directly, but it warned the rebel about Mehmed's absence were separating. Zoganos advised the Sultan to return quickly. Mehmed considered these suggestions. Leaving immediately might allow supporters to recover. Remaining too much long may encourage players group to become older. He asked who stubborn Targovis will be under the appropriate governor. Zoganos said the city could be healed, but the surrounded land remained uncontained. Mehmed made a balanced decision. Part of the army will remain under an experienced commander. Local security measures will continue. The Sultan will begin open with toward Istanbul after receiving the next report from Bali Bey. Before leaving, Mehmed gathered his opponent shuffle. He wanted them then their greater danger will not come from a large enemy army. He will come from corruption, private revenge and careless treatment of the people. You can lose the city without losing one battle, he said. You will lose it when the people believe law protect only the powerful. He ordered regular report to be sent to the capital. Complaint against Ottoman soldier official will be examined. Tax collection will remain limited until trade and farming recovered. Bridge and road damage during the campaign will be repaired. The official listened carefully. Some admit the plan, others worry that the cost will be high. Mehmed now rebuilding require money, but he has now consistently really done more. The next report from Valley Bear reads sooner than expected. His reader has nearly reached his blood near the boulder, but for reasons so reader that has appeared from the fortress and protected the except Valley Bear has avoided a larger clash before his forces were tired and far from sport. Vlad has crosses into protected territories. Some commander expected Mehmed to become angry. Since he asked whether Balibe has returned safely and whether the identity of the foreign soldier was clear. The report described their clothing and the weapons but controlling no capture beggar. The soldier has acted without official sign, making it difficult to execute the foreign rule directly. Mehmed recognized the careful decision. Vlad Ali wanted to save him without creating openly war. The Sultan ordered Balibe to return. The pursuit has reached its useful limit. Continuing will give the foreign power a chain to climb. That Ottoman troop has crossed the border and attacked first. Kurtul Roga was disappointed. He wanted Vlad punished for the death of the Janissaries. Mehmed understood his punishment has begun his side. He lived without a city, without an enemy, and without the trust of his own people. Kurdogan answered that the Vlad could return. Yes, Mehmed's side and what he has, he will find that we have learned every road he uses. The Ottoman army prepared to leave Targovius. The mood was difficult from a simple victory celebration. Vlad has escaped, many soldiers had died, and the land still required protection. Yet the main city has fallen, the civilian tribes have failed, and valiant power has been broken. As the army marches, Mehmed ruled silently. He thought about the place report. The open battlefield had become less urgent, but the hidden battlefield was waiting in Istanbul. Zugano stood beside him and asked whether he believed one of the princes was involved in the robbery. No, Mehmed sighed, but a prince does not need to begin a fire for others to gather around his warmth. He now young princes could become stable without understanding what men were doing in their name. An ambitious official might speak as he represented a prince hoping to gain power later. If the pilot failed, the prince could still be blamed. Mehmed did not want to punish his son basing on rubber. At the same time, ignoring the situations would be dangerous. He needed fact. He sent a trusted agent ahead of the army. He man carried an official message. His task was to enter Istanbul quietly and discover who had changed the original conversation into the rubber of replacement. The agent's name Kemal has spent years observing people without attracting attention. He now that their questions often producing prepared lies. Himal reaches the capital before the army. He first visited market and a coffee house where political stories often change shape. Some people believe Mehmed has been badly wounded. Others are Vlad has surrounded the Ottoman army. A few claim one prince has already been chosen to rule. The story was clearly false, but they had not appearing naturally. Similar press has been repeating in different parts of the city. Someone has recognized their spirit. Kamil followed one storyteller to a small house near a training area. The man received coin from a servant connected to a wealthy official. Kamil does not arrest either person. He allows the servant. The trail lead to an official named Rauf who has lost one important position. After opposing one of the Mehmed reform, Rauf publicly served the state, but privately he believed that Sultan has weakened the old order. He wanted greater authority placed in the hand of experienced family. Rauf was not planning to place a prince on the throne immediately. His goal was more careful. He wanted people to fear that Mehmed's distance had made the capital unsafe. If he fair agree, the council might demand that Rauf and his ally receive greater control. Kamil discovered that Rauf has made men connected to more than one prince. This showed that he did not truly support any of them. He was using their name by approaching similar group. He could later climb lonely to whenever prince became stronger. The agent sent a secret report to Mehmed. The Sultan received it 2 days from Istanbul. He read the message twist and that burned it. Zuganos asked what he planned to do. If we arrest Rauf now, he will say his innocent servant spread foolish word. Mehmed replied, we need the hand, not only the finger. Mehmed ordered Camel to continue watching. Rauf contact had to be identified. A man seeking only a government position was dangerous, but a man working with an outside power was a greater threat. The army approach created excitement in Istanbul. Official messenger announcing the capture of and the defeat of Vlad forces. Public celebrations began, but Mehmed limited their size. He did not want the city to believe The comparison had ended without cause. Families of dead soldiers waited for news. Some celebrations stopped when list of names arrived. Mother, wives, and children gathered nearby office, hoping their loved were alive. Mehmed entered the capital without turning the return into a display of personal glory. He first visiting a place of prayer and then meet the family of civil commander who had died. He now but could not replace the dead. But ignoring the family would be worse. One woman asked whether her husband had died bravely. Mehmed answered he remained in his positions when others depending on him. The woman began crying. The Sultan did not tell her not to story. He allowed the grief to exist. A ruler who demanding sacrifice had to face the problem who paid its price. Then every the place held a formal concern. Reports from Lassia were received. Some viewer officials praised the victory. Others questioned the decision to allow Vlad to cross the border. Rao spoke carefully. He did not attack Mehmed directly. He said only that the empire enemies might interrupt. Vlad escapes his weakness. Mehmed looked at him and what to do interrupt it as. Rauf answered temporary danger, my Sultan. Then our enemy may learn from our wisdom. The concern between silent. Rauf understand then a sultan word containing a warning. Mehmed continued discussing military matter without exposing what Kamil had found. He wanted Rauf to believe the remained safe. A frightened conspirator might disappear. A confident one would continue making mistakes. After the concert, Mehmed met his son separately. He did not excuse him. He asked what they had here where he was away. Bazid described the robber and said he had ordered his servant not to repeat them. Mustafa admitted the same soldier had spoken about the need for a prince to carry greater military authority. He said he had rejected the suggestion. Mehmed studied Bausa and he believed that were lacking the trust, but he also knew that princes rarely heard everything done in their name. He said, a man who prizes you because he loves you. Another may prize you because he wants to see you learn the difference. Mustafa asked how they could know the first man who tells you when you are wrong. Mehmed asked the second will tell you that every discard in your hand is wisdom. The princess remembered the lesson Mehmed had spoke about Placia. He explained how Vlad had been civilian, hidden road, false information and foreign sport. He wanted his son to understand that future war would not always be dictated by armies meeting in open field. A ruler who see only the enemy's sword, he told them, will be defeated by the hand carrying the message. The police investigation continued. Kamil discovered that Rao was sending coded letter through a merchant who traded with the foreign court. The merchant believed the letter concerned prices and shopping. Hidden mark in the writing carries a second message. Ottoman agent copied one letter before allow it is continue. The code was difficult but place scholars slowly understood it. Rauf had information of foreign contact about disagreement among the princes and seduction that pressure near the border who increased fear in Istanbul. This was enough to prove more than personal ambitions. Rao was helping an outside power influence Ottoman politics. Mehmed could now aggress him, but he decided to send a control answer first. The agent changed one part of Rao's message. The new version said the Sultan planned to move an army toward the foreign border and had decided the full network. The letter continued on its path. The foreign contact received it and panicked. He ordered civil agent to leave Istanbul. Ottoman watching followed them. One traveled toward the coast, another tried to reach Edir, and the third entered the home of an official connected to a military supply. The network was wider than expected. Mehmed ordered the arrest to happen on the same night. If one man learned about the other, he might destroy evidence. Guard moved quietly through the city. Door was opened, paper was seized, and suspense was taken before they could warn each other. Rao was resting while preparing another letter. He demanded to know the association. The guard gave no answer when he was brought before Mehmed. Rauf tried to appear calm. He said that the robber was the work of careless people and did not connect with foreign agents. Mehmed placed a copy of the coded letter in the front of him. Rauf's face changed, but he recovered quickly. He claimed the letter was false. The Sultan then brought in the merchant, who identified Rauf as the man who had given him the message. Other agents described the payment system. The evidence closed around him. Rauf changed his defense. He said he had acted to protect the empire from Mehmed's dangerous companion. Mehmed asked who protected the empire by inviting a foreign ruler into the argument of the family. Rauf replied that he wanted balance. No, Mehmed said, you wanted fair, you believe fair will return the power you lost. Love fate will be decided according to law. Mehmed refused to tell the questioning into a personal act of revenge. Still, everyone understands that the betrayal connected to a foreign power receive severe punishment. The investigations also revealed that several younger officials has repeated Rauf's idea without knowing about the foreign contact. Mehmed did not punish all of them equally. These who had knowing accepted many were removed and arrested. These who had repeated drama carefully lost position but were not treated as full traitors. These differences matter. If every mistake received the same punishment as treason, people would have no reason to admit smaller faults. Justice required the ability to separate level of responsibility. The princess watching the event closely. Mustafa was angered that man had used this name. Yazid appeared more thoughtful. He understood that the power could gather around a princess before the prince asked for it. Mehmed called them together again. Today they use your name to challenge me, he sighed. Tomorrow they may use my memory to make you fight each other. Neither prince answered. The throne attack man who carry mirror. Mehmed continued. Then show you the face you wish to see. Break this mirror before they break your mansion hold. Mustafa promised loyalty to his brother. Bayezid did the same. Mehmed accepted their word, but he now promised made during peaceful yacht could be tested by future failure. Outside the place, Istanbul continued growing. He paved with world builders, street scholar, enter new school, and traders from different lands filled the market. The city was becoming the center Mehmed has imagined, yet growth created problems. Full prices, road houses become limited. Corrupt officials tried to profit from construction. Mehmed turned his attention toward this issue after the compassion. He understands that people might celebrate distant victory while suffering from local injustice. A ruler who ignored the price of bread could lose the trust gained through military access. He ordered an examination of the market. Inspector found workers hiding grain to increase price. Some were connected to officials who protected them. The grain was released and the corrupt official was removed. One consider warned the harsh action against might refute business. Mehmed answered, trade needs profit, it does not need anger. He does not want to destroy merchants. Their work was necessary from the city, but he will not allow them to create an official stockade while soldier families struggle to buy food. New building projects were also received. Mehmed wants to places of workshop, market, water system, and public kitchen. He now great building could show imperial power, but they also had to survive daily life. An adjective presented are designed for a large complex. Mehmed admit the beauty but asked where ordinary people would orbit water. The adjective point to a small fountain from these many horses. Mehmed asked. The adjective admit it would not be enough. The plan was stained water channel. An additional founder was added before decorative work. Mehmed wanted beauty, but he believed truly beauty including unusefulness. During this month, report continuing from Valencia. The new governor faced small attack on simple roads. Some former soldiers of Vlad has formed group in the forest. They avoided direct battle and target isolated travelers. Mehmed sent clear conversation. The governor will return patrol but also offer limited forgiveness to men who surrendered their weapon and had no communicated serious crime. This is who continue attacking civilians will be treated as enemy. The police divided the rebel group. Some men have joined Vlad not because they fear punishment, or needed food, they accepted the offer and returned to their village. The smaller group that remained was easier to identify and fight. Vlad heard about his swarm across the border. He became furious. He needed the resistance to remain united. Mehmed offer was taking away the ordinary man and leaving only the most communicative fighter. Vlad sent message said that anyone who accepted Ottoman forgiveness would be punishing when his return. But his street no longer carried the same forces. People had seen him lean. They now him return was uncertain. Still Vlad sport among rulers who wanted to use him. He was given a guarded resistance, money and a new agent. Publicly his protected claim he was only a guest. Privately plans were discovered for a future companion. Vlad disliked being treated as a tool, but the Vlad little choices. Without foreign support, he could not rebuild his forces. He accepted the help while planning to betray his helper when he became stronger enough. This was his nature. Every alliance was temporary. Every promise united only a better opportunity appeared. Mehmed's speech reported that Vlad was meeting foreign officers. The Sultan did not immediately prepare another invasion. The empire has other concerns and the companion launched at the wrong time could serve the enemy purpose. Increase Mehmed's strength, the border, improve communication between fourth and order local commander to prepare warning system, fireplace on high point could send news if enemy forces move. He also sent diplomatic message to Vlad Protector. The latter did not openly accuse the ruler of helping him. They simply stated that any army attack from his authority would be considered his responsibility. The warning placed pressure without closing the road to peace. Mehmed wanted the foreign court to understand the cost of using Vlad. Using this is matter development. Suleiman delayed messenger finally returned with the false report from Kamran. He claimed the region was near complete religion and the immediate action was necessary. Suleiman noticed problem in the account. The messenger could not answer detailed questions about curtain road and leader. His information sounded dramatic but lacked clear effect. Instead of moving immediately, Suleiman detained the messenger and questioned the other men who had travelled with him. Their story did not match. The plot began to break. Companion admitted that the messenger had delayed the journey and met a stranger at inn. The stranger gave him money. Suleiman ordered the messenger searches. A hidden letter was found inside the lining of his cloth. It suggested him to push Suleiman toward Kamran before receiving punishment from Mehmed. Suleiman now understood that someone wanted to create conflict between him and the Sultan. He sent the evidence to Istanbul and waiting. When Mehmed received it, he recognized similarity to Rauf network. The handwriting belonged one end of the arrested agents. The plan had reached farther than the place rubber. Mehmed sent a message praising Suleiman for testing the report before acting. He also gave him permission to send trusted men toward Karaman and they addressed the real problem there. This response threatened their relationship. If Mehmed has reacted with suspicions before examining the evidence, the hidden enemy would be succeed. Patient protected loyalty. The event also shows Suleiman the danger of urgent news. A message that demanding immediate action was not always false, but urgency could be used to prevent useful thought. Mehmed later explained this lesson to his son. The enemy will sometimes give you a life with enough trust inside it to make you run. Mustafa asked if a ruler should doubt every message. No, Mehmed replied, a ruler who trusted everyone is belied. A ruler who trusts nothing is alone. You must test before your choice. He would describe Mehmed one burden. He depending on thousands of people to govern the empire, yet any one of them could fail or betray him. Complete trust was dangerous, but complete suspicions would destroy the state. This balance people become harder as its power increased. People fear disappointment him. Some officials began hiding bad news before they wanted to appear successful. A governor might report peace while villagers were angry. A commander might reduce the loss of a number in a battle report. A tax offer might climb high collection without matching the suffering used to obtain them. Mehmed ordered a second system of report. Traveling judge, merchant, religious leader, and the military officer could also provide information about the same region if the report directly greatly an investigation will follow. This system was not perfect, but it reduces the chain that one official could control everything. The Sultan now, one traveling judging, returned from the province and reporting that the governor has built an impressive public builder. The official report praised the project. The judge, however, said farmer had been forced to work without fair payment. Merchants demanded the governor. The man defended himself by saying the building honored the Sultan. Mehmed answered, "You place my name over a door built with injustice. That does not honor me." The governor was removed and ordered to replace the worker from his property. Story of the decision spread. This strengthened the belief that compliance could reach the throne. At the same time, some officials became more careful, not because they had suddenly become good, but because they feared discovery. Mehmed accepted that law often began by controlling bad behavior before it changed hearts. The Sultan now he could not personally solve every problem. His most important task was building a system that continued working when he was far away. A good ruler could make one just decision. A strong state had not made thousands of fair decisions through judge, governor, soldier, and officer. This was the less visible side of conquest. Map showed new authority, but they did not show the work required to govern it. Every conquered region needed road, record, tested, court protection, and local knowledge. Without this thing, victory remained temporary. One night, Mehmed stood on the plate terrace, looking across Istanbul. Light from home and sheep recovered the darkness. The city was longer and busier than it had been after the conquest. He could hear distant voices from the streets. Zogana joining him inside the city has become proof of Mehmed's dream. The Sultan replied, "A dream is easy while it began only to one man. It becomes difficult when billions must live inside it." Zugano looked at him. "Do you agree it?" "No," Mehmed asked, "but I understand this price." That price appeared in every direction. Soldier had died in Vlasia. Family waited for man who would never return. Official has betrayed the state. Princess was growing into possible rivalry. Foreign ruler was helping blood. New cities require money and attention. Victory has not removed danger, it has increased responsibility. Mehmed thought again about Vlad. The enemy has escaped, but his escape no longer felt like an unfinished personal fight. Vlad represented a continued question. Could fear build something Vlad latest? Mahmud believed he could not. Fear could clear a road, silence a room, or forces a man to kneel. It could not create true order. Yet Mahmud also noted that every imagined used fear in some form. Law required punishment, army required discipline. Enemies needed to believe aggression created a code. The difference comes from what fear served under Vlad himself under a just state. Punishment had to serve Vlad. This difference was easy to explain but difficult to protect. A corrupt governor could use the Sultan authority for personal revenge. A cruel soldier could hide thieves behind military necessity. Mehmed had to fight such muses constantly. News soon arrived that one of Vlad's remaining rebel group has attacked an Ottoman supply convoy and killed civil uniformed workers. The Vlasian governor captured the group leader and asked what punishment should follow. Mehmed ordered a public trial in the region. Witnesses would speak, evidence would be presented, and the leader would be punished according to his crime. The Sultan did not want him secretly killed. A public process will show the difference between law and revenge. Some advertisers agreed that a trial gave too much honor to be rubber. Mehmed disagreed. The trial is not for his honor, it is for ours. The leader was being guilty of murder and humiliations. His punishment was carried out while several younger followers who had not taken part in the killing received prisons and labor sentences. This public response was mixed. Some feared Ottoman power, others respected that not every captured man had been treated the same. Slowly the rebellion lost support across the border. Vlad learned of the trial. He laughed at the idea of giving rebel a chance to speak to him. Such processes were a sign of weakness. But one of his foreign supporters understood the political effect. He warned Vlad that Mehmed was making Ottoman control appear lawful. Vlad replied that people respected only such and the supporter sighed. Then why did you people give your road to Balibai? Vlad's expression darker. The conversation ended immediately. The question remained with him. He could not admit that his one method has created the betrayal. Instead, he blamed cowardice, bad luck, and foreign interference. A man who built his empire around fear could not easily accept that fear had failed. Mehmed, in contrast, examined both success and failure. He asked why Vlad has entered the Ottoman camp so easily, why supply line has been exported, and why curtain shot has failed to defect movement. Commanders were required to provide honest report. One officer tried to hide the mistake by blaming a dead soldier. Mehmed discovered the truth through other witnesses. The officer was removed. You can repair an error. Mehmed told him you cannot repair a lie while you continue to protect it. The army changed its camp procedure. Clothing and identifications were checked more carefully. Night guard used new signals. Unit recorded the name of men entering important area. This is Maya reduced freedom inside the camp, but they made another restrictions more difficult. In this way, even Vlad's successful attack became lesson that strengthened the Ottoman forces. Mehmed did not allow shame to prevent improvement. The Sultan also made engineers to discuss better protection for supply convey, wagon travel in organized group. With mounted squad ahead and behind, temporary fold will be built along important road. Local guide will be used, but no guide will know the interior road. Every situation created new costs. More guide mean fewer soldiers everywhere. Fort require worker and food. Careful travel longer. Mehmed had to decide which road were important enough to receive the strongest protection. This was the endless work of leadership. Resources was never unlimited. Protected everyone easily was impossible. A ruler had to identify the point where one loss created many others. As the month passed, the immediate fear of Vlad's return became weaker. Market Targovi's opened. Farmers returned to field. Repair continued. The Ottoman governor sent reports showing progress. Still, hidden address remained. One night, a fire began in a grain store. Guards spotted it before it spread. A captured man admitted receiving money from across the border. The message was clear. Vlad could not take the city, so he wanted to make it expensive to hold. Mehmed ordered the governor not to answer with punishment against whole community. Collective revenge will increase support for Vlad. Instead, the network carrying money and instruction had to be found. Merchant crosses the border was riches. Coin used to play the agent carried mail from a particular region workshop. Ottoman spins followed the backward toward one of the Vlad protectors. The evidence gave Mehmed greater diplomatic power. He sent copies through a trusted expectations and demanded that the sport. He did not threaten immediate war, but he moved troops close to an important border fortress. The communication of evidence and military preparation worked. The foreign ruler reduced the support for Vlad. He still allowed Vlad to remain, but money and weapons became harder to obtain. Vlad realized he was becoming less powerful. His protector had served him to create pressure against Mehmed. Now the pressure threatened to cause a larger conflict. The court wanted distance. For the first time, Vlad considered leaving for another country. He sent letter to survivor representing himself as the only man capable of stopping Ottoman expansions, his claim was proud but his situation was weak. Some courted answer politely without offering help, others did not answer at all. Mehmed's victory was therefore continued without another battle by strategically exposing foreign support and applying diplomatic pressure. He made Vlad more isolated. Yet the Sultan did not believe the danger had entered. Men like Vlad could survive for a year unhatched. As long as one ruler believed he might be careful, he wanted to have a place to hide. Mehmed told his consort, "Do not watch, only where he is. Watch, this is people may need him." This principle applied beyond Vlad. An enemy become useful when another power wanting trouble without accepting responsibility. The Ottoman needed to understand the interest that created such alliance. The consort began study with ruler Fitan Ottoman Gaul, which had dispute with their neighborhood and which might use rebel or excited princes. Diplomacy became connected to intelligence more closely than before. Mehmed also understood that his one enemy could use member of the Ottoman family. Shahzad Arhans and the other possible claims has already shown as a prince's name could become a political weapon. Foreign power did not need to believe a caliphate would be a good ruler. They only needed him to divide Ottoman loyalty. Therefore, Mehmed ordered stronger observation of border code and isolated group. At the same time, he warned officials not to create false association merely to remove revolts. The difference between vigilance and madness was narrow. A ruler who said conspiracy everywhere could become his one greatest enemy. One evening, Bayezid answered his father whether a sultan could ever feel safe. Mehmed thought before answering. A man may feel safe his side. A sultan must know what he knows. Bayezid answered whether the mean that ruler could never rest. It means he must choose carefully where he must rest and beside warm. The answer stayed with the prince. He began watching the behavior of his companion more closely. Some became uncomfortable, believing he is no longer trusted them. Others increased their price, hoping to appear loyal. Bayezid recovered that suspicion could change relationship even when no betrayal has occurred. He understands a small part of his father-in-law Linus. Mustafa faces another lesson. During military training, he ignored an instruction warning and attempt a difficult movement on horseback. He succeeds and the watching soldier praised him. Mehmed later asked what he had ignored the warning. Mustafa said the movement hard work. A mistake does not become wisdom before you survive it once. Mehmed replied. Mustafa felt embarrassed. He had expected praise for courage. Instead, his father showed him the danger of learning the wrong lesson from success. Mehmed explained that rulers often become careful after victories because one risky decision succeeds. They believed every risk was proof of genius. This was how confidence turned into pride. The lesson connected directly to the Sultan's life. Constantinople has rewarded his boldness, but he could not treat every future problem as another Constantinople. Different enemy require different methods. Vlad has shown that our familiar forces could create great danger through terror and the knowledge of the land place. A conspiration has shown that one rubber could threaten unity. Marking corruptions has shown that victory abroad means little if people survive at home. Each challenge demanding another side of leadership. The month after Targuisti, therefore changing Mehmed even without one great final battle, he became more careful with information, more focused on loyal government and more aware of the political group forming around his son. He remained ambitious. The man still continued seeking a religion he wanted to bring under Ottoman authority, but ambition was becoming heavier. Every new comparison had to be measured against unfinished work. Every Zoganos continued incurring expansion. He believed that empire had to keep moving while its enemies were divided. The other official warned about costs and military associations. Mehmed listened to other side. He asked for report on the Harvest army number, sheep and foreign allies. He could not choose war only because one commander discovered glory. or reject it only because another fair is a concerned meeting latest until late at night. Map covered the map. One road pointed through fortress, another show concern in Anatolia. Naval officer describe opportunities across the sea. Mehmed stood over the map, understanding that each direction represents thousands of leaves. A line drawn with link could become a road of grab if the decision was wrong. He did not notice a new companion that night. In cease, he ordered preparation. Road would be examined, supplied, counted, ship expired, and explorers sent. Preparation keep option open without forcing any immediate choices. The patient surprised younger commander who expected the conqueror always to attack. Older man recognized that the Mehmed ambition had not weakened, it has become more controlled. The Sultan now that where would be another comparison. The empire position and the action of his empire may be temporary, but he wanted the next movement to become because he closest to time, not because blood of origin ruler or an impatient commander forces him. Late the night after the concern ending, Mehmed remained along with the map. A servant entered to remove the lamp, but the Sultan asked him to leave one burning. He looked first at Constantinople, the city that at once appeared impossible. Then his eyes moved toward Vlasia, Bosnia, Serbia, Karaman, and the sea beyond him. Them every place carried a different memory. Some represented victory, others represented infinite danger. Together they formed the world he had chosen to shape. He remembered his father warning about the throne. As a young man, Mehmed has believed the greatest difficulty would be reaching his goal. He now understands that keeping a victory could demand more strength than winning it. The wall of Constantinople had fallen in one historic assault. The work of ruling the city will never truly end. Targovski had opened its gate, but blood influences remained across road, forest, and foreign court. Traitor has been arrested in Istanbul, yet ambition will appear again under new name. A ruler could not complete his duty and place it aside. Each answer created another question. Still, Mehmed did not feel defeated by the weight. The burden gave direction to his strength. He has never decided an easy life. He had decided a meaningful one. He moved a small marker on the map toward a border fortress. The action was simple, almost silent, but it showed that his mind has already begun building the next strategy. Vlad believed survival means history. Place enemy believed distance made the Sultan weak. Foreign ruler believed Ottoman growth could be slow through hidden game. They were all make the same mistake. They believed Mehmed's strength lived only in the moment of attack. They did not understand that his greatest strength appeared after the battle, when the drum became silent and the difficult work began. He could wait without forgetting, he could protect it without becoming passive, he could forgive without becoming blind. He could punish without allowing anger to become law. More importantly, he could learn. Every enemy who scams left behind knowledge. Every conspiracy revealed a weakness that could be repaired. Every loss taught the army how to survive the next danger. The comparison against Vlad has cost blood, time, and peace. It has also shown Mehmed the shape of the war ahead. They would be fought in forests, concert room, marking border court, and even inside his family. The age of simple victory was ending. The age of deeper tested has begun. Mehmed looked at the final lamp at his flame move in the quiet room outside Istanbul. Sleep beneath the protection of walls, sheep, soldier, and law. Beyond the city, enemies prepared new plans. The Sultan placed his hand on the table. He now they would come. He also now he would be ready. The first cold wind of the season reaching Istanbul before sunrise. It moved across the Bosnia passes through the sheep and entered the city through street that was already a week. Baker prepared bread for the market. Porter waiting near the door. Guard changing their position at the place gate. Fishermen pulled their boat toward the boxes while merchants opened wooden boxes filled with wood from distant land. The city was alive, but Sultan Mehmed was not watching it from a place of peace. His stone became a large map inside a private concert chamber, studied the road and connected his empire to his enemy. Different stones had been placed across the map. While stones show Ottoman army and fortresses, black stones show now every position. Red stone mark region where loyalty demanding and contained. They were more red stone that Mehmed like. Targovski has fallen under Ottoman control, but Vlad was also still alive. Foreign rulers continued to offer him protections because they believed his hatred could be useful. Kamran remained troubled. Some Ottoman courtiers spoke about peace while sending money to border commander. Ottoman ships controlled important water, yet enemy port constantly preparing new vessels inside the empire. Princes were growing older, commander was becoming more powerful, and officials were quite friendship that they weren't becoming political group. Mehmed understand that his empire looked stronger when viewed from a distance. The map showed larger territories until his commander. His name was framed from Anatolia to Europe. Istanbul has become a powerful capital. His armies has broken famous wall and defected respected commander, but map could lie. A map could show a city and Ottoman without showing the anger inside its trade. It could show a road has opened without showing the bandage without waiting enough for us. It showed as a bandit as secure without showing the gold being carried secretly across it. It could show the empire has one color while hiding the different fear, hopes and ambition of the people living inside it. Mehmed has learned the conquest was clear only the moment of victory. After that moment everything became complicated. Mahmud Pasha entered the chamber crying several sealed reports. He bowed and placed them on the table. The message from the western border has arrived my Sultan his side. Mahmud opened the first report. He described usable movement near a fortress. Supply wagon has entered during the night. Now soldier was being trained. The commander of the fortress claimed the activity was only defensive, but Ottoman scouts believed preparation was being made for a future attack. The second report concerned Vlad. He had moved from one protected assistant to another. He was meeting foreign officer and asking for money, weapons and men. He promised that the man of Lycia would it is returned. The third report comes from Kamran. Two local leaders had disappeared after refusing to answer questions about stolen weapons. Village near the mountain were receiving messages from unknown readers. Some message called for rebellion. Other claimed Sultan Mehmed planned to remove local family from their land. The fourth report was from the coast. An Ottoman merchant ship has been attacked by whistle crying no clear flag. The attacker has been taken money and weapons but left several witnesses alive. The witness believed the man spoke different European language. Mehmed placed the report beside one another. Four fired Mehmed Pasha's side. No Mehmed replied. One fire with four frame. Mehmed look at the map. You believe they are connected. I believe our enemies want to. You believe they are separated. Mehmed pointed to Lycia, then Hungary, Cameron and the sea. If we send a large army north, Kamran may move. If we turn east, Vlad may return. If we divided our forces, this ship may attack our trade. They do not need to defect us everywhere. They need only to make us run in every direction. Mehmed Pasha agreed. The report appeared to describe different problems, but their timing was too close. Someone was tasted Ottoman attention. Zuganos Pasha entered soon afterward. He has already heard part of the news and wanted a military response. He believed that Western forces should be surrounded before its forces become stronger. An enemy who prepares in front of us is asking to be struck. Zogano's side, Mahmud Pasha disagreed, but he is asking us to move where he wants. Zogano looked toward him, waiting also give him what he wants. Zoganos looked toward him, waiting also give him what he wants. The two men representing different strengths. Zoganos believed that speed could destroy anger before it grabbed. Mehmed believed that incomplete information could turn speed into disaster. Mehmed valued about few. But they know that personal tensions sometimes influence their advance. Powerful commanders did not always disagree only before of strategy. They also understand that every successful plan insists the position of the man who has suggested it. Mehmed asked Zoganos how many soldiers would be needed to control the western route. At least 12,000 of the strong answers. Zoganos said more if the fortress receives help, and if Kamran rises, we can send another forces from where. Zoganospores, the empire had many soldiers, but they were not waiting in one place. Some protected new territories, others guarded Istanbul, the coast, the important road. Moving them required time, food, animal, and money. Mehmed turned toward Mahmud. What is your answer? We should send enjoy to the western court, straighten our body quietly, and learn who is playing blood. In Kamran, we should arrest no one until we know whether the rubber or local or origin. At sea, we should assert merchant ship and search the island uses by the attacker. Zoganos shook his head. By the time every question is answered, the enemy will have finished preparing. Mehmed replied, and if we act without answer, we may finish preparing the enemy victory. This argument becomes sharper, but Mehmed once hand. We should know choices between movement and knowledge. He said we will use boat. He ordered Zugano to prepare a force near the western border without crossing it. The soldier will repair roads that return near before and contact training in open views. This would show the enemy that the Ottoman may ready without beginning a war. Mehmed Pasha would enjoy to avoid an explanation for the military activity. At the same time, Ottoman agent would learn which blood was inside the fortress or using it as a meeting point. A smaller forces would make toward Kamran under an experienced commander, but it would not enter village as an occupying army. Its official purpose would be road protection. Secretly, its office would investigate the missing weapons. The navy would begin exerting merchant ships. The fast vessels would travel ahead of each convoy to search for attacker. Mehmed then gave the most important order. No commander who know the complete plan. His eyes. Zugano looked surprised. My Sultan. Our enemies are learning too much about our movement until we know how each man will receive only what he needs. This was not an accusation against the man in the room. It was a response to a pattern. Similar enemy action has happened soon after Ottoman concern described military changes. Someone near the government might be passing information. The possibility places a shadow over the chamber. Mahmud Pasha asked whether Mehmed suspended a member of the concern. Suspend, wrote the Sultan answered. I do not yet know who will upon it. It concerned ending, but Mehmed remained. He studied the report again. Every message had passed through many hands before reaching him. A governor brought to us in clarity. A reader carries the letter to another official. Place servant recorded its arrival. A translator might read it. A clerk might create a copy. Secret did not need to live through one great letter. They could escape through a frightened servant, a greedy clerk, or an official who speaks too clearly in one horn. Mehmed Kar Kamal, the agent who had uncovered our network, Kamil entered quietly and waiting. There is another leak. Mehmed sighed. Kamil does not ask whether the Sultan was contained. He knew Mehmed will not call him without reason. Where should I begin with the information our enemy received, not with the people were disliked? Mehmed explanation the timing of the military movement. He wanted Kamil to compare what the concern had discovered with what the enemy had done. If one action follow a popular report, they might discover which secret has escaped Camel Wolf, and if the road reaching someone close to the throne, then the road still and Camille understand Jack would not protect the guilty. That same morning, Price busy training with civil young commander outside the place. He was becoming more skilled with weapons, but his greatest ability was patience. He watching before he moved. He rarely attacked simply to impress the men around him. Mustafa was difficult. His actions were faster and more aggressive. Soldier admit his courage before he entered every exercise as if it were a real battle. It took risks that others avoided. During the training, Mustafa charges through a narrow opening and strike the wooden target before group has forced its defense. The watching soldier chair Bazid agreed that Mustafa had left his one side unprotected. Mustafa answered that speed has won the exercise only because the enemy was made of wood. Bazid said Mustafa smiled, wood or iron is still feel. The difference appears small, but the men around them notice it. Some prize Mustafa bravery, others prepare Byzantine carefully thinking. Every command added another stone to invisible political war forming around the princes. A commander named Salim Aga spoke loudly enough for civil people to hear. An army followed the prince who moved first. Another officer replied, an emperor survived under the prince who now where to move. Neither princess has asked for the comparison. Still it entered the air around them. After the exercise, Byzantine approaching Mustafa privately. Do not listen to man who turned training into a question of the throne. He sighed. Mustafa removed his glove. I did not ask Salim Aga to speak. You did not stop him. Mustafa faces become serious. Should I punish every man who pries me because you fear this sound? Basil, stop it closer. I fear what men hide inside pride. The brothers told in silence. Mustafa finally sighed, then fear you won't follow as well. He walked away. The disagreement was not yet hated. It was a small wound, but small wound could become dangerous if they were touched repeatedly. A servant who was watching to the exchange later repeated part of it to another place water. By evening, the story has changed. People whispered that the princes had threatened each other. By the next morning, our version claimed Mustafa has retrieved from his sword. The rumor reaches Mehmed before breakfast. He commented about son. Mustafa arrived angry before he believed Bazid has complicated. Bazid arrived worried because he now the argument would be used by other. Mehmed listened to them separately and then together, their account matching closely. There had been sharp word but no threat and no weapon. The Sultan ordered the servant who had first repeated the conversation to be found. The man admitted what he had seen but denied treating the later story. Mehmed did not try him as a traitor. However, he removed him from place survived. A man who carries half a trust into a haunted room may create a complete disaster, he sighed. Then he turned toward his son. You are old enough to understand that no disagreement between you will remain private. Mustafa sighed. That must we act like stranger? No, you must like brother who now the stranger is listening. Beside lowering his head, Mehmed continued, the throne is not between you today. Do not allow other of place it there. Mustafa looked over Bazid. The anger in his face became weaker. Mehmed ordered the brothers to travel together on an inspection of the new military road outside Istanbul. They were share responsibility for the task and submit one report carrying one name. Mustafa did not like the order. Bazid understood its purpose. Mehmed wanted them to solve a real problem together before places boys could turn a small argument into a larger version. The route they inspected connected the capital to a chain of supply stations. Heavy rain had damaged several sections. Wagon crying grain before travel in mud and soldiers lost their repairing wheel. Mustafa wanted to order thousands of workers to rebuild the road quickly. Bazid first speak with local villagers. They explained that the water channel beside the road has been blocked by a privately wall built by a healthy landlord. During rainwater crossed the road instead of moving toward the leader. The brother visited the landowner. He greeted them with gift and climbed the wall, protected his field. Mustafa refused the gift. You protected your land by destroying the law to the state. He said the landowner agreed that he has permission from a local official. Bazid asked to see the rider order. The document carries an official seal but using the wrong date. It has been created after the wall was built. The local official was summoned. Under questioning, he admitted receiving money. Mustafa wanted both men inspired immediately. Bazid agreed that punishment was necessary but said the road should be repaired before the investigation. Before a long legal fight, they ordered the wall open, the water channel clear and the damage action rebuilt. The landowner worker was required to help while still engineering surprising the work. The official was sent to Istanbul for judgment for the first time since their argument. The brother worker without competition, Mustafa gave fast order and controlling the labor team. Bazid studied the water flow and speak with the engineering. Each use had different stand. That evening they sat near the unfinished road. Mustafa said, you were right about the water. Bazid answered, you was right that the work needed to begin immediately. Mustafa smiled, do not become two places. It may not happen again. Bazid's smile as well. The tension between them do not appear, but it becomes smaller. Unknowing to them, a reader watching the road from a distance, he was not interested in his brother relationship. He was courting soldier wagon and Simply station. After sunset, he left toward the coast. Camille investigation has already led him toward the same area. He had discovered an enemy agent was now receiving secret only from inside the place. They were collecting details from worker, merchant and traveler. A trader might know how much grain has been purchased. A blacksmith might know how many horses needed new shoes. A shipbuilder might know how many vessels were being repaired. None of these facts seem important alone. The story of Mehmed Fetihler Sultani is not simply the story of a ruler winning battle. It is a story of a man who believed that history can be changed by courage, intelligence, patience and fights. Sultan Mehmed entered every challenge with a powerful belief that no wall is too high, no enemy is too strong, and no dream is too large. Yet this series also shows the victory is never free. Every conquest diamond throne. He walked through war battle, family conflict, political games, and personal loss. His greatest strength is not that he never suffered. His greatest strength is that suffering never forces him to abandon his purpose, the fact of and establishing himself as a ruler fair across, Mehmed finds himself facing Vlad, a man who does not fight, love a normal king. Vlad does not depend only on armies, castles, or open battlefield. He uses fear as a weapon. He attacks the mind before attacking the body. He carries traps, separate either target weak point, and try to make the Ottoman soldier believe that death is waiting for them in every forest and behind every wall. Mehmed forever faces more than enemy commander. He faces a ruler who has tried cruelty in a political method. Their conflict becomes a battle between two different ideas of power. Vlad believes power comes from making people terrified. Mehmed believes lasting power must be connected to order, justice, discipline, and a larger than personal revenge. Episode 83, the Season 3 final take, the struggle to the wall of Mahmud's army reaches a moment where military volatility appear close, but Vlad changed the situations by facing people in danger. The battlefield becomes a test of conscience. Mehmed can order an attack and possibility destroy his enemy, but such a decision may also cause the death of people who are not responsible for blood crime. This is a kind of challenge that separates an ordinary warrior from a ruler. A warrior may think only about defending the man standing in front of him. A ruler must think about soldiers, civilian future rebellion, political consequence, public trust, and the moral meaning of his command. Mehmed's sword can break a gate, but a wrong choice could damage the justice that gives the rule illegally. To understand what this movement matters, we must return to the beginning of matter journey. Long before Europe called him the conqueror, Mehmed was a young prince surrounded by expectations. He was born in the dynasty that had already been a powerful state, but that state was still surrounded by serious threats, rival power watching every Ottoman movement. European kingdoms feared future Ottoman growth. Anatolian principality protected their independence. Byzantine leaders used diplomacy, peace, alliance, and Ottoman princes against the Ottomans' rule inside the state. Experienced commander and officials did not always agree about the future. Some wanted careful expansions, others believed the empire had to act quickly before its enemies united. Mehmed grew up into the world of danger where a prince could never be contained with her. A smiling man was a royal friend or a patient enemy. Even during these younger years, Mehmed is presenting as someone who sees beyond the limit accepted by others. Where older men see an impossible wall, he sees a problem that can be studied. Where possibilities can danger, he sees a change to change the balance of power. This does not mean that he is careless. His ambition is supported by learning. He studied language, geography, history, military sciences, religion, government, and the behavior of previous rulers. He understands that a sword may win a field, but information will entire companion. He paid attention to roads, river, fortresses, trade routes, naval power, food supply, weather, and the emotional condition of an enemy. His mind is always moving. Even when he appears silent, he is measuring the room, leader faces, and thinking simpler step ahead. His intelligence, however, creates tension with people. who believe he is too young. Many experienced officials respect the Ottoman dynasty, but they doubt whether a young prince can carry the weight of the state. They have service wars, rebellion, and the disaster. They know how quickly a kingdom can collapse where a ruler make one proud decision. To them, caution is not cowardice, it is a lesson learned toward pain. Mehmed understands their fear, but he also believed that expensive caution can become another form of defect. A state that spent all its energy avoiding danger may slowly the ability to shape events. Mehmed does not want Ottoman to wait for the enemy to decide the future. He wants to create the future himself. The relationship between Mehmed and Sultan Murad is one of the emotional foundations of the story. Murad is more than Mehmed's father. He is a ruler whose victory, wound, responsibility, and mistake shape the young prince's understand of leadership. Right now that the throne is not a gardener's seat that give happiness, it is a place where every decision may send thousands of people toward light of death. He understands the loneliness of command. Friends may offer advice, commanders may promise loyalty, and family members may expose love, but the final responsibility remains with the Sultan. Murad wants Mehmed to become strong when he also fears the fire inside his son. Great ambition can build an opinion, but it is not controlled by patience. It can also destroy everything around it. Mehmed's early experience on this throne teaches him this painful lesson. He discovered that having the title of Sultan does not automatically give control. Powerful officials have their own opinion. Soldiers may trust older commander more than a young ruler. Foreign enemies may see youth as weakness. Political reward may encourage confusion. Every older may pass through the complicated system of people, interest, tradition, and fear. Mehmed learned that ruling requires more than issuing command. He must understand when to speak, when to wait, when to forgive, and when to act so strongly that no one can misunderstand his purpose. His early setback does not destroy his confidence. Instead, he removes the weakness from his confidence. Before hardship, ambition can be innocent. Before it has not yet reality. After hardship, ambition either destroy or become disciplined. Amid ambitions become disciplined, he began to understand that a ruler cannot depend only on excitement, heed, instruction, loyal commander. Strong finances, trained soldier, reliable information, and clear authority. He must know the difference between a man who passes and a man who will stand beside him when defeat appears possible. He must also learn that some enemies cannot be defeated immediately. Curtain battle must first be won through preparation. The dream of remain alive during all of it. The city is not merely a beautiful prize. Its position gives its enemy strategic importance. Its time between automatic and influence sea routes. Trade, diplomacy, and military movement. As long as the Byzantine capital remained outside Ottoman control, foreign powerful possess a place from which they can throw trouble. Near the center of the Ottoman world, the city can offer protection to rival, encourage rebellion, and help an alien's treated ability. Mehmed forever views its constance as both as a historical dream and a political necessity. He does not want to attack the city because of pride alone. He believes the future security of the state depending on ending the decision created by its continued depending. Many people have dreamed of taking before him. Powerful armies have strong before it was. Commanders have imagined entering its gate, yet the city has service again and again. His walls are famous. He defended now every field attack to the city legends. A young Mehmed therefore faces are not stone defense but the weight of history. If he fails, his enemies will call him an arrogant boy who ignores wiser voices. His authority could weaken, rival power could attack, internal opponent could say that his dream injured the states. The risk is so great that many officials prefer and patience. Mehmed listened to warning, but he refused to allow fear to make the final decision. He understands that the city cannot be conquered by repeating old methods. He promised fail that he must study the reason for their failure. Strong wall demand stronger artillery. Control of the sea demand a stronger fleet. Foreign support for Byzantine must be delayed or penetrating through diplomacy. Ottoman forces must be organized that the state does not collapse before of anger, confusion, and disease or weak communications. Every detail matters. The conquest must begin in workshop, concealed room, roads, and supply center long before the first soldier reaches the wall. This is where the series present. Mahmud no supply as a warrior but an organizer of talent. He now that a ruler does not need to possess every skill, personality. He needs the wisdom of recognized people who possess the skill required for victory. Engineering scholar, miners, sailors, blacksmith, sword, religion teacher, commander, and ordinary laborers all become part of his plan. The conquest is not shown as the achievement of one man standing alone. Mehmed provides the vision, but thousands of people turn their vision into reality. His leadership brings different abilities together and drag that toward one purpose. Zogano's Pesa represent of both sides of Mehmed's strategy. He understands the young ruler deserves to create a new political age. He does not treat Mehmed's dream as childish excitement. He sees the intelligence behind it and support actions. His reality gives Mehmed confidence during movement when doubts spread through the cold. Yes, Zuganos is not valuable simply because he agrees with the Sultan. His value comes from the willingness to carry responsibility. Many men sports a plan where success appears likely, true loyalty starting when spoiler becomes visible. Zuganos understands that standing beside Mehmed may cost him position, reputation, or life, but he remains committed. Cardili, on the other hand, represents the power of experience and the old political order. He understands dangers that younger men may overlook. He worries about European inventions, financial pressures, military escalations, and the internal instability. His concerns are not always without reason. This makes the conflict between him and Mehmed more interesting than a simple fight between a hero and a villain. Cardinally questions something protect the state, but it can also protect his one influences. The question is not only whether his advance is wise, the question is whether they still accept the Sultan's right to shape policy. When an official began to believe that a ruler must obey him, experience can turn a challenge against authority. Mehmed must strive forever, therefore, to form of resistance. The first stand outside the state in the form of enemy armies and fortified cities. The second exists inside the political system. Some men are afraid of change, others fear losing power. Some troop behind is taking a dangerous path. Others use that belief to hide personal ambitions. Mehmed cannot respond to every disagreement with escalation of anger. A rule will remove everyone who question him may soon be surrounded by silent vote, but a ruler may allow officials to ignore his decision will lose control. Mehmed must build a balance between consultations and command. The place between another battlefield. Message travel through hidden channels. Secrets are exchanged behind closed doors. Foreign agents search for weakness. Every relationship may carry political value. Marriage, family bonds, personal jealousy, and all loyalty influence decisions. Women of the place are not separated from this event. They understand that the military companion affect the life of their children and the future of the dynasty. A priest's mother, now the victory may show that his father's future. While defect may love him in danger, love inside a ruling family is therefore mixed with fear, strategy, protections, and competitions. Mehmed's personal relationship reveals a side of him that the battlefield cannot show. In front of soldier, he must appear curtain. In concert, he must control emotion. Before foreign responsibilities ever will become a political signal, only in a private movement can the burden become visible. Even their complete peace is irresponsible. The people closest to him may worry that the ruler is slowly disappearing by the title. They may love Mehmed, the man, but fear the demand places upon Sultan Mehmed. His dream consumed time, attention, and emotional energy. He belonged to his family, but he also belonged to the state. His created one of the central tragedy of the leadership. Ordinary people may separate home from work, but a sultan cannot. A threat against his enemy can become a threat against the dynasty. A family disagreement can create political group. The birth of a prize can change alliance. A marriage can species or produce jealousy. Mehmed may wish to protect the people they love from political struggle, but their connections to him automatically places them inside it. His enemies understand it, and look for way to use personal emotion against him. Despite this pressure, Mehmed continued preparing for one of his greatest strengths in his ability to turn doubt into energy. Every warning becomes a question that need an answer. If the walls are too strong, he will improve the cannon. If the sea road can bring help to the city, he will strengthen naval control. If enemy spies an Ottoman plane, he will limit information. If soldiers become tired, he will remind them why they are fighting. His fight gives moral meaning to the companions, while his planning gives his practical strength. The construction of a fortress near the dismay his determinations. Mehmed now the city cannot accelerate it unless he control movement through the waterway. The fortress is more than stone, it is a message to Byzantine and Europe. It announces that the young soldier is no longer speaking about a distant dream, he is changing the physical map around the city. Each tower showed that the preparation has entered a new state. His commander of understand that the circle is closing. Inside the Byzantine capital, Emperor Constantine faces his one impossible situation. He may represent merely as a weak ruler waiting to be defected. He understands the danger and now the importance of the city. He searches for support, threatens defense, and tries to use diplomacy. Yet the old empire no longer possesses the resources it once controlled. Its great name hiding a shrinking political reality, must defending a city that carries countries of history that lack of the strength of his earlier age. This contrast between historical glory and present weakness add emotional depth to the siege. Mehmed and Constantine become true lord trapped by duty. Mehmed believes he must take the city. Constantine believes he must defect it. Neither can simply walk away without betraying his position. Their struggle is therefore larger than personal hatred. It carries the expectation of his people and the memory of previous generations. The war between them are physical, political, religion, and historical. When the siege began, two different versions of the future meet between the same gates. The final attack do not bring easy success. The wall absorbed typical forces, defender repair damage, Ottoman soldiers face arrow fire, stone and sudden counter attack. Tunnel may collapse, assault group may be pushed back. Every unsuccessful action gives confidence to the defender and creates doubt among the attacker. The longer it continues, the more dangerous it becomes for Mehmed. European power may send help, disease may enter the camp. Food may become a problem, soldiers may become questioning whether the city truly can be taken. This is movement as Mehmed more than a quick victory world have done. Anyone can appear brave when even follow the plan. Leadership become visible when the plan is damaged. Mehmed must control his disappointment because the army watches his face. If he feared a fright, fear will spread. If he become weakness, unnecessary deep with follow, he has to show confidence without ignoring reality. He speaks to commander with these positions, study the walls and searching for new solutions. The city does not fall simply because his sources cease. He must continue earning the possibility of victory. A major challenge comes from the sea. Ship carrying help toward countless time, threaten Ottoman control and damage the confidence of the navy. Mehmed's anger reflects them more than the loss of a single encounter. He understands the physiological effects. Soldiers who believe the city was trapped now see the sport may teach its European observer may decide that the Ottoman fleet can be defected. The defender may believe the siege is weakening. Mehmed demanded accountability before command. Without responsibility created order, yet punishment alone cannot solve the problem. He needed a method that changed the situations. He decided to move sheep across land because one of the most famous examples of his ability to reject accepted limit, the chain across the Golden Horn appeared to block Ottoman naval crosses. A conventional commander may continue attacking the barrier or accepted the area cannot be entered. Mehmed changing the questions. Instead of asking now ship can pass through the chain, he asked they can reach the water without passing through it. The solution seemed impossible until human effect began turning into reality. Men prepared the route, wool displays and treating to reduce frictions. Animal and soldier may pull heavy vessels across the road. The operation demands silence, coordination, strength, and secrecy. One mistake could expose the entire plane, yet by morning Ottoman ship appear when the defective believed no ship could not arrive. The action does not immediately end the siege, but it destroys the enemy confident in fixed barrier. The message is clear: Mehmed will not accept the battlefield exactly as it has been given to him. He will reshape it. This reality follows his throughout the series. Mehmed is dangerous because he learned an enemy may surprise him once, but the same method rarely worked twice. He studied the fact instead of hiding from it. Example, the success of a rival commander without allowing pride to blind him. For him, intelligence is not beginning only to one's nations or one tradition. Useful knowledge can become from engineer, accident books, captured documents, origin specialists, experienced soldier, ordinary people who understand the land. His confidence allow him to learn from others because he does not believe that learning reduce the authority. As the stage moves toward its final stage, the pressure becomes almost unbearable. Some advancer may still suggest until the companion before a larger disaster occurs. It can point to losses, delay, and foreign dangers. Maybe now the withdrawing will discover part of the enemy, but it can't destroy the to his build. More important, he became convinced that the city can be taken. His decision to continue is not blind stubbornness. He is based on his reading of the enemy condition, the damage to the defenses, and the leadness of his forces. He believed one final united effect can break this silence. Before the last assault, the spiritual and emotional atmosphere of the army become essential. Soldiers prepare themselves for that. Commander review positions, prayer rise from the camps, people are checked, men think about their family, their fear, and the meaning of the battle. Mehmed understands that an army is not a machine. Every soldier carried a separate heart. Some are inspired by pride, some seek honor, some follow loyalty to commander, some fear punishment. A successful commander may bring these different motivation together at the decisive hour. The final attack became a storm of sound, smoke, steel, fire, blood, and determination. Different Ottoman units move according to the plan. The defender find it separately because there is never left to three. This is why the separated antenna began to lose their power. Small opening become larger, soldier climb through danger, standard rise and fall, commander are wounded, older struggle to pass through the noise. In this house, the air of Mehmed preparations reaches their final test when Ottoman forces enter the young Sultan achieve what may consider impossible. Yet the series wisely refused to present consequence at the ends of our problems. Entering a city is an event. Governing is a much larger task. Has suffered through siege, building are damaged, people of written, different religions and culture community wonder what they will next. Soldiers who risk their life expand to world official complete for influence foreign state, their politics. Mehmed must change from beginning to ruler almost immediately. His behavior after the conquest between important to the victory of his victory, but allow uncontrolled destruction. He may gain empty stress and permanent hatred if he restore order, protect useful institutions, encourage people to return, and rebuild economic life. He can turn the city into the center of a growing empire. Mehmed wants more than possessions. He must reveal Constantinople must become Istanbul, a capital then enjoying different regions, culture, market and traditions under Ottoman rule. This is where Mehmed identity as a builder become as important as his identity as a mosque, market, school, workshop, road, public survive, and administrative center. He understands that people cannot eat military glory, they need work safely, housing, justice, and trade. A city becomes powerful when merchant trust his trade, craftsman from customer. Scholar find sport and family believe their children have a future there. Rebuilding therefore becomes another kind of conquest, a conquest over fear, emptiness and destruction. The conquest after changing Mehmed's personality before Constantinople. He is trying the young ruler, trying to prove that his vision is possible. After Constantinople, he becomes the man who has proven it. This gives his enormous authority, but it also increases expectations. The enemies no longer see him as an experienced prince who may fail. They see a ruler capable of doing what others believe impossible. Fear of Ottoman expansion grows. European kingdom understand the old exceptions are no longer safe fortresses. One consider victory may valuable. Political leaders began searching for illicit peace and new defensive plans. Success therefore give Mehmed less pieces, not more. Every victory depends the bolder he must defect it. Now territories contain different community and legal power. Commander who become famous may develop personal ambitions, prices may enter grow and gain support for region enemies and adjust into the Ottoman court. Economic demand did increase. A ruler may stop paying attention after a great contrast may lose what he has gained. Mehmed must remain active. The series uses information to move from the dream of Constantinople toward the larger question of the empire. What kind of state will Mehmed create? Will it depend only on continuous war, or can it build a stable political order? Can different people live under the same authority? Can law control powerful soldier and official? Can the dynasty survive competitions among princes? These questions become more important as Ottoman influence grow. Mehmed's relationship with his commander also changes. During the struggle for Constantinople, sheer danger, unity after victory, reward positions and reputations create no tension. Some commanders believe their survive give them the right to greater influence. Others become jealous. Younger worries seize opportunity. Older officials fear being replaced. Mehmed must toward loyalty without loving any servant of the state to become stronger than the authority of the throne. This is why the fact of cardinally carries such weight. Mehmed cannot build a new order while an old center of power remains capable of limiting him. Yet removing a powerful official is dangerous. Candorly represents a respected family and a long tradition of survive. His path send a message throughout the state. The Sultan will listen to us bite, but he will not allow any other man to rule through him. From this point forward, Mehmed's authority becomes far more direct. However, central power brings it one danger. When one ruler controls major decisions, the quality of the state depends heavily on that ruler's judgment. Mehmed must protect himself from pride. The same confidence that helped his talent Constantinople could leave him into unnecessary companion if he stopped listening. This series repeatedly places him in situations where determination and stubbornness stand very close to each other. His greatness depends on understanding the difference. The companion after Constantinople revealed a new side of his leadership. Each region presents a new different problem. Same cities require warfare. Some rules can be controlled through diplomacy. Same territories contain rival groups that can be divided. Mountain road, river forest, and winter through chain military plan. Mehmed cannot use one method everywhere. He must attempt to the land and the enemy. The Balkans become especially important. Bosnia, Serbia, Wallachia, and near me land this inside a complicated network of loyalty and fear. Local ruler may promise friendship while security asking Arab for support. Religious identity includes aliens but survive other aliens them more. A priest may change side because he fears a neighbor. A normal family may support the Ottoman to defect a local rival. Another may call for these wild notifications privately. Mehmed entered a world where open decisions clearly reveal the complete trust. Bosnia became a test of political and military control. Its difficult land and divided loyalty make it challenges. Mehmed understands the conquest cannot depend only in winning one battle. Roads and fortresses must be controlled. Local decisions must be understood. Commanders need supplies. Information must travel quickly. A small enemy forces hidden in the mountain can damage a ruler enemy if the Ottoman become careful. This series also connects this companion to personal relationship and place tension. New from distance front after the royal houseful, a Lord Commander leave behind a grieving family. A wanted prince is changing the balance of successions. A marriage connected to a conquered land may pieces while other suspicions. Mehmed victory entered the place through later prisoner celebrations and funeral. By section 3, Mehmed is no longer fighting to prove that he can become a conqueror. He is fighting to defect and expectations a reputation already now across the world. This change the behavior of his enemies. They understand that meeting him into a normal battle they lead to defeat. Therefore, they search for methods. They target simply rules, supply false information, encourage rebellion, distract soldiers, and attack morals. Vlad becomes the perfect enemy for this stage of the story. Become his greater weapon is unpredictability. Vlad now Ottoman method and unstable his fear of the region. He does not simply wait behind wall. He turns the land itself into a weapon. Village may be emptied or destroyed, road become track, darkness provide cover, Robert traveled before his forces arrived, his cruelty decided to create an image larger than his actual military strength. If Ottoman soldier become believing the blood is everything, he can repel them without fighting every unit directly. Mehmed required this strategy. He knew that anger is exactly what Walad cannot want from him. A furious commander may rush forward, separate his forces, ignore warning, and enter prepared traps. Walad tried to turn Mehmed's sense of honor into a weakness. Every murdered soldier and every brutal display encouraged revenge. The emotional desire to track quickly becomes stronger. Mehmed must control not only his own anger but the anger of his army. These and other soldiers accept the Sultan to answer cruelty with strength. They have lost friends. They have seen horrifying scenes. Waiting may look like weakness to man whose blood is hot. Mehmed must explain through action that discipline is not fair. A controlled response can be more dangerous than a will attack. He studies Vlad movements, protects supplied line, uses shout, and sends experienced commander to choices except routes. Balibai become important in this kind of war. The speed and knowledge of the raider allow them to operate beyond the main army. They can follow hidden paths, gather information, disturb every movement, and prevent blood from disappearing after an attack. Balibai represents the valor may courage is supported by experience. He understands that cases an enemy blindly through an outland is not bravery, it is a gift to the enemy. Real courage requires patience. When every emotion demands speed, Ghazi Ahmed Paisa also required the responsibility of turning Mehmed with their plan into action. Commanders like him must make decisions far from the Sultan. Communications may be delayed, conditions may change. They need enough independence to respond, but they must remain connected to the main strategy. The success of an empire depends on such men. A brilliant ruler cannot stand on every road or fight at every gate. The princess faces their one trial during this companion, being the son of a great conqueror over honor, but it also creates irresponsible pressure. Every action is compared with Mehmed's achievement. Courage is expected, yet recklessness can endanger the dignity. A prince may gain military experience without appearing to ambition. He must build relationships without creating suspicions. He may obey his father while also defending the strength required of a peaceful future ruler. Prince Mustafa often presents the enemy energy and the bravery expected from Mehmed's son. His willingness to danger can inspire soldiers, but it can also place him in situations where the enemy see a valuable target. Mehmed must balance the love of a father with the need of a sultan. Protecting a prince too much may make him weak. Exposing him to too much danger may destroy the future of the dynasty. Prince Byzantine faced a different path. The competition between princes is not always open, but everyone understands his existence. Mother, donor, commanders, and officials may become imagined which prince will ruler one day. Even when the princes love one another, the political system encourages comparison. A small disagreement can be interpreted as the beginning of a larger rivalry. Mehmed now the danger because Ottoman history contains examples of struggle within the ruling family. He wants his sons to serve the state. Yet he cannot remove the uncertainly surrounded successions. Every prince must prepare a rule, but civil men preparing for one's throne create tension. The Sultan must watch the behavior of his son while also watching the people gathering around them. Shahzad Suleiman's situations in the latest final reflect is the conflict between personal loyalty and political responsibility. Bad news from Kamran forces him toward the difficult choices. He is committed to Mehmed's stand on one side, while the future of Kamran stands on the other. The decision is not simply about geography, it concerns honor, identify, obligation, and survival. Whenever his choices may be interrupted as loyalty by one group and betrayed by someone, this is the first reason the series remains enduring after the conquest. The central character may be powerful, but his power does not remove uncertainties. Each battle creates more complicated choices. Mehmed can defect an army, yet he cannot force every heart to become loyal. He can appoint a governor, but he cannot personally watch them every day. He can arrange marriage, but he cannot control every emotion. Empire is not foolish object. It is a living structure that must constantly be protected from outside pressure and internal division. Vlad understands his weaknesses and searches for every opportunity to use it. He wants to isolate Mehmed politically, execute him military, and damage his courage as a just ruler. His strategy is especially cruel because it creates the moral foundation of Mehmed's authority by placing innocent people behind the defensive. Vlad tried to make every possible decision demanding if Mehmed attacks, civilians may die, and Vlad can excuse him to clarity if Mehmed refuses to attack. Vlad gained time and many present the instigation as weakness. If Ottoman soldier become angry and disobedient, discipline may courage. If Mehmed punishing his soldier too harshly, resistance may grow. Vlad create a situations where military strength alone cannot provide a clean answer. This brings the story back to the difference between conquest and justice. Mehmed titled a celebration his ability to take city and land, but the series asks whether he can his anger, a ruler who defects others, but he cannot control himself, being a prisoner of emotion. Vlad wants Mehmed to become like him. He wants clarity to answer. Until Baudem loses moral directions, Mehmed pulls because decided. It is therefore not a sign of weakness. It shows the weight of responsibility. Thousands of soldiers wait for his demand. Commanders study his face. Innocent people remain trapped. Vlad's expatriate as such a movement. Mehmed says separate justice from revenge. Revenge asks what will satisfy anger now. Justice asks what decision will protect the state, punish the guilty and reduce harm to the innocent. The detection among the make him harder. This is man have weakness, blood crime, and want immediate action. This anger is unstable, yet an army cannot choosing its directions or emotions. One soldier becomes deciding when to attack. The chain of command break. Mehmed must repair their suffering while reminding them the opinions hold the army together. Kotku Dogan and his men face this pressure directly. The courage is not questioning, but courage without discipline can destroy a companion. The series uses such character to show that heroic action does not always mean changing forward. Sometimes heroism means holding a position while friends demand movement. Something it means protecting civilians who belong to the enemy land. Something it means following a different order than offer no immediately glory. The appearance of powerful worries at the walls add physical excitement to the final, but the deeper struggle remains Mehmed's decision. Gates can be broken by such blood. Moral trap cannot. Mehmed just create an answer that protects his army honor while preventing his army from controlling the meaning of the battle. The confrontation between Mehmed and Vlad is powerful because they understand each other in different ways. Vlad now Mehmed is served for justice and tried to use it against him. Mehmed now Vlad dependence on fear and tried to expose the weakness beneath it. It worked best when people believe the terrifying figure cannot be reached. When Vlad is forced into direct confrontation, the mystery around him began to weaken. Mehmed's goal is therefore not only to defeat Vlad's soldiers, he must destroy the image Vlad has created. The people of must see that clarity cannot protect their ruler forever. Ottoman soldiers must recover confidence. Local nobles may understand that supporting Vlad carries a cost. European observers must recognize that his methods have failed to stop the Ottoman advance, but at the same time, Mehmed cannot treat every person in Vlad's territory as an enemy. Doing so would give Vlad exactly what he wants, a population that fears Ottoman revenge may continue supporting him. A population that sees discipline and protection may begin separation its future from Vlad. Mercy, when connected to Sultanı, become a political weapon. This cannot mean Mehmed becomes soft. He now that curtain crime depend punishment. He is prepared to use force and accept that war brings that. The difference lies in purpose and control. Vlad uses suffering to create personal terror. Mehmed used military power to achieve political objectives and establish order. Whether he now always succeeds in maintaining the difference is one of the questions that give the character depth. The latest final leaves the series at the point where Mehmed's future part can become even larger. Historically, his region include many companion political reform, construction of jack, and conflict among princes. The show has enough material to explore the cost of mountaineering An empire, after a greater symbolic victory, it can examine the changing relationship between Mehmed and his son, the rise of the new commander struggle in Anatolia, future European companion naval ambitions, and the ruler attack to turn Istanbul in the heart of his world. However, until TRT announces the official continuation detail, predictions remain possibility rather than confirmed storyline. The end of season 3 is designed as a pulse filled with unrolled action. Vlad position, the future of the Valasian companion, Suleiman choices, the condition of the Mehmed son, and the balance inside the patience all provide part for the next day. The emotional direction may become more important than the number of battles. Mehmed has achieved greatness at the young age. But greatness isolates him, fever become people can speak to him as an ordinary man, every friendship becomes connected to rank, every disagreement carries political dangers, every family conversation may refuse the future of the empire. As his son grows, Mehmed may see reflection of his wound in him. He may remember how older infusion doubted him. If his son demand independence, will he respect their ambition or fear it? If they may become mistake, will he guide him patiently or judge it as the Sultan, the man who fought for the right to shape his own future? May struggle when the next generation asks for the next freedom. His commander will also grow in fame. Victories create powerful reputation. A successful general may become loved by soldiers and respected by local people. Such popularity can threaten the empire, but it can also make the place suspicious. Mehmed must decide how much authority to give him best servant, control them too tightly and their talent is wasted, allow them to independence, but they may create a personal center of power. The woman of a place may become an important role as the prince matures. Each mother wants security for his child. Each without open conspiracy fear can reduce secret alliance. Service may information, daughter influence young mind. Marriage proposal become political decision. A robber can damage trust become family member. The series has already showed that enemy outside the place understand this is tension. A foreign ruler may fail to defeat Mehmed in battle, but success is encouraged conflict among his sons. A Sape may not need to steal a military plan, but he can create suspicion between two commanders. An assassin may target someone who that will cause political choices rather than immediate military loss. Mehmed's greatest challenge may therefore become preserving unity. During the siege of Constantinople, everyone understands the central objective. Later, the empire contained many objectives at once. One commander wants expensive inner Arab, another brief Australia must be scared. Merchant wants safe trade, soldier expects companion and wants scholar seeks support, local governors ask for ether authority, the tragedy must spend armed construction, administrative and the royal household, a ruler moves choices, plurality and every choice is disappointment someone. Mehmed cannot satisfy every group. His ability to explain purpose and enforce decision become essential. He must ensure that the disagreement do not turn into rebellion. This is harder than breaking a wall between. Dissatisfaction often had become respectful word. The title Fetihler Sultani, Sultan of Conquest carrier more meaning has the story development. At first, conquest appeared to mean taking a city. Later, it meant mastering system, people and personal weakness. Mehmed must conquer uncontainedly without becoming careless. He must conquer pride without losing confidence. He must conquer anger without losing strength. He must conquer fearing without danger. This is why this conflict with Vlad feels like a natural continuation of the story. Constantinople tested whether Mehmed could achieve an impossible dream. Vlad tested whether he can protect the value that gives that dream nothing meaning. The wall of Constantinople challenged his military intelligence. The wall of challenged his moral intelligence. Vlad wants the world to believe that every ruler becomes cruel when placed under enough pressure. He wants to prove that justice is not a word using during peaceful time but treating villains and providing these. He tried to force Mehmed into an action that can presenting uncontrolled revenge. Mehmed's answer must show that power can remain disciplined even in the middle of horror. He cannot remove every tragedy from war, but he can refuse to make tragedy his purpose. His authority is strongest when soldiers obey his not only because they fear punishment, but because they believe his commander carried reason. The final therefore closes one tale while opening another. Mehmed stand before a city and he did, but he did not longer the same man. He now carries the memory of every victory and every death that follow him. His enemies know his name, his soldiers expect greatness, his family depend on his decision. The world watching to see whether the required can continue carrying without being encouraged by his power. This question stretching beyond this series, history often remember rulers through victory, date, map and monuments. Drama allow us to imagine the human burden between this is record. A line in the history book may also that an army marches from one land to another. This series showed tired horses, wounded soldier, worried family, political argument and sleepless night. A record that may be a sultan order an attack. The story asks when he gave the order, what alternative is considered and what fear he refused to show. It reminds us that historical decisions were made by human beings who could not see the future. Mehmed did not know exactly how later generations will remember him. He acted inside movement, feel him uncontainedly. The series making him inspiring without making his path simple. His confidence attack people, but it can frighten. This is close to him. His discipline protect the army, but it may be appear old. His devotion to the state give purpose to his life, but it take time away from his family. His victory creates security while also producing new wars. These contradictions prevent Mehmed from becoming a flat hero. He is not powerful, but the world always obey him. He is powerful because the world repeatedly resisted him and forced him to grow. Every enemy teaching him something, every betrayal make him more careful, every loss remind him that even a sultan cannot control everything. Yet he refused to become hopeless. This may be his most important quality. He does not confuse differently with impossibility. When others describe a barrier, his hand searching for a road about him, under it, through it or beyond it. This was true before Constantinople and it remained true at the difference is what the young Mehmed may truly try to prove that he could change history. The older Mehmed must now decide what kind of history he wants to create. Integrity, feel alone cannot answer that question. Fear alone cannot maintain an empire. A testing stage requires law, knowledge, loyalty, economic life, and a sense that his power serves something greater than a ruler personal glory. Section 3 and Mehmed stand at the center of an empire that has become larger than the dream of young Paris. Thousands of people now live inside the world created by his decision. Their safety, hope and future depend partly on whether he'll continue learning. Blood may expire one lord only to find another block. A fortress may resist one attack and fall to another. A prince may hesitate before finally choosing a side. A commander may appear loyal while crying a hidden ambition. These questions keep the story alive during the break between seasons. But one trust remains clear. Mehmed will not stop become an enemy has made the part difficult. Difficulty is the condition in which his mind becomes most active. He will study plot trap, control the anger of his enemies, search for a path that protect innocent life, and cross every possible escapes. He now that the result will be judged not only by whether fell, it will be judged by what remain after the gate open. If the city is filled only with dead blood, darkness will survive even in defect. He will prove that the conquest attempt is not limited to reduction. This section ends with the feeling that an even larger struggle is approaching. The battle against blood is part of it, but the deeper struggle will follow Mehmed everyone. It is the struggle between authority and justice, ambition and patience, family and state, love and duty, fear and fire. Sultan Mehmed has already crossed sea, broken wall and changed the balance of nations. Well, now he must cross the most dangerous distance so far, the difference between possessing great power and using the power wisely. His sword has opened the gate of cities. His intelligence had effective, stronger defensive. His sword has carried him through movement when destroy seem impossible. But the coming journey will ask whether he can preserve his humility while carrying the weight of an empire. The young prince when looked forward Constantinople and saw a future no one else see it. Now the ruler looked beyond toward another uncertain horizon. Behind him stand victory that have already become legend. Before him stand enemies who have studied this is victory and prepared new kind of resistance. The battlefield has changed, the danger has changed, Mehmed has changed. But the fire inside him remained. He is still the ruler who refused to against accept limit, and his age of conquest is far from complete. The smoke above did not rise like normal smoke. He moved slowly across the sky as if it was crying the pain of the city with it. The Ottoman soldiers stood outside the wall waiting for a command, while the people trapped near the gate carried for help. Blood has turned the city into the weapon. He had placed innocent life between himself and Sultan Mehmed, believing that the Sultan will either attack and become hated on the hesitated and appear weak. It was a cruel plan because there was no simple choice. Every road appeared to lead towards suffering. Mehmed watching the wall without speaking. Around him, commander waited, horses moved nervously, and wounded men worked away from the front line. The Sultan's face remained calm, but his mind was moving through every possible result. If the army attacked without control, the innocent people would be crushed between the two sides. If the army moved back, blood would escape through hidden roads. If they waited too long, fear and anger could break the discipline of the soldier. Mehmed understood that blood was not only teaching Ottoman strength, he was tested Ottoman order. Kutu Doga stood among the struggling to control the men. Many of them had lost close friends during blunt attack. Our soldiers stepped forward and said they should break the gate before blood disappeared again. Another shouted that every movement of delay gave the enemy more them. Doga was understand their feeling, but he also knew that an army controlling by anger could be defeated even what is was stronger. He ordered the men to remain in their positions. His voice was hard, but his eyes showed that he shared their pain. Their sword belonged to the state, he told him. Your anger belongs to you. Do not confuse the two. The world did not remove their anger, but they reminded the soldier that they were not a group of men seeking personal revenge. They were part of an army, every man depending on the other. If one unit moved without permissions, another unit might be left unprotected. A small act of disobedience could open a road from blood to escape or attack from behind. Near the main command positions, Zugano's special study around men of the city should have masked several possible exits, but no one knew how many secret tunnels remained beneath the old building. Vlad has lived in fear of betrayal for years. A ruler like him must never trust one road of escape. He will prepare 3, 4, or even 5 parts. Some will be real, others will lead his enemy into trap. Ali by arrived after riding around the northern side of the city. Mud covered his board and the lower part of his clothing. His horses was breathing heavily. He reported that the civil group has tried to leave through the forest, but the forest has stopped them. None of the captured men has admitted where Lord was headed, some appearing terrified of speaking, others seemed loyal enough to die without giving information. Mahmud asked, without any children or old people that has been ceasing this is leaving the city. Belly by answering that many civilians were trying to escape but armies were only using them as cover. Ottoman riders could not attack without placing family in danger. Vlad solely understood this and remained close to the crowd. The Sultan looked again at the wall, then Vlad wished to make us fight this battle in his way. Zugano's reply, he must mercy will show us. No, Mahmud sighed. He believed mercy is weakness, then that the mistake that will destroy him. The Sultan ordered the archer not to fire toward the civilian group unless they were directly attracted. He commanded the cavalry to close every road but leave one controlling part open. Civilians will be allowed to pass after being searching. Bloodmen would then that a face. They could remain hidden among the people and risk recovery, or they could separate from the crowd and reveal themselves. At the same time, Mehmed ordered Miner to examine the ground near the wall. He suspected that Vlad must use an underground road. When darkness arrived, the miners were told not to begin digging immediately. They will first listen for movement within the earth and place their eyes against wooden instruction pushes into the soil. Other watches bowl of water from small movement that might show activity below. That was how Mehmed answered terror. He does not respond as a louder display of cruelty. He responds by making the battlefield smaller around his enemy. Every door closed quietly. Even hidden planes become more difficult. Vlad wanted to Sultan to lose control. Instead, Mehmed increased control. Inside the city, Blas moved through a dark passage beneath an abandoned building. He was surrounded by a few trusted men, but trust has become difficult for him. He studied every face. A man who has served him for 10 years could destroy him in one moment. Fear had kept many followers close, yet fear was not the same as loyalty. Vlad now it that even that anyone. One of his commanders reported that the northern route was blocked. Another side, the civilians was being allowed to leave through a controlling Ottoman line. The news angered Vlad because it weakened his protection. He has expected Mehmed to attack the crowd or stop everyone from leaving. Either choices could have been used against the Ottoman ruler. Instead, Mehmed was separating the innocent from the soldier. Vlad asked whether the underground road repeal opened. The commander hesitated before answering. The small hesitation told Vlad more than the word that followed. It may still be open, the man sighed. Vlad moved closer to him. We hear movement above the southern package. For a few seconds, Vlad said nothing. Then he smiled, but the smile did not calm the men around him. They have seen the expression before. It usually appears when his anger becomes too deep, shoot openly. Mehmed think he understand me. Vlad said he think closely road will place fear in my heart. No one answered. Vlad continued. The conqueror has entered many cities, but he has never entered my mind. Yet the truth was difficult. Mehmed did not need to enter Vlad's mind completely. He only needed to understand the pattern of his action. Vlad always created pain to distract from weakness. Whenever his position became dangerous, he increased the horror. He wanted his enemy to look at the suffering instead of the road he was preparing to use. Mehmed had recognized this pattern as everyone approaching the city changed. Long shadow covering the damaged wall, fire burning in broken cities. Families moved toward the Ottoman control axis, carrying children, blanket, and small bag of food. Some expected the soldier to attack them. Others has been told that the Ottoman will take them a prisoner. Fear made every movement uncontained. Mehmed ordered food and water to be placed near the safe part. He did not. This supplied to a pride-kind, hungry and frightened crowd were difficult to control. If panic began, people might run in every direction, allow light soldiers to disappear among them. By giving the civilian a clear road and basic help, the Ottoman created order where Vlad has created confessions. A woman crying, a wounded child reaching the first line of soldiers. A janissary slowly placed his word on the ground. He held out his empty hand and called for a healer. The woman still looked afraid, but she allowed the child to be taken. Seen like the spread through the crowd, the civilian began to understand that the soldier has been ordered to protect him. Their failure did not disappear, but it changed direction. Some started speaking about armed men hiding in houses, others disappeared package under the city. An old man sighed. He had seen Reader crying dark flag toward the eastern quarter. Information began arriving without torture or threat. Black cruelty has forced people into silence, but Mehmed's order gave them a reason to speak. The Sultan understood that people usually protected the ruler they believed would remain. If they thought Vlad returned, they vowed had information. If they believed Ottoman control was becoming permanent, they might help the new authority. When night came, the Minar had movement before the southern ground. It was soft at first, then they heard the sound of a wooden touching stone. Someone was opening a hidden barrier underground. Mehmed did not order an immediate attack. He placed soldiers around the possible exits and told them to remain silent. Torches were put out, horses was moved well away. The man waited in darkness. The hidden door opened after midnight. Two shots come out first. They moved carefully, excited to find an empty field. Ottoman soldiers allowed them to walk several steps before capturing them. The squad was stopping so quickly that they would not shout a warning. More than follow, they were also captured. Then the movement